What's up, everybody? It's DisThunder, and we're going to take a look at another Mezcon 2024 Summer exclusive. Today, it will be the Blank from the Dick Tracy universe. And yes, like the previous Casey Jones exclusive, this was a pain in the ass to get your hands on. I think he comes by it a little more honestly than Casey, though. I think they genuinely underestimated the demand for this guy, so hopefully that's something we may see them revisit in the future. Getting back to the business at hand, the Blank made his first appearance back in 1937. Frank Redrum used to run with a crew known as the Redrum Slot Machine Gang. He got arrested and thrown in prison, and in his absence, the gang basically cut him out and left him hanging out to dry. So he hatched a scheme and broke out of jail and messed up his face in the process. Once on the outside, he donned a piece of thin cheesecloth to cover his disfigured features and went about the business of exacting his revenge on his former gangmates. Now, I know Veebs will be disappointed, but my actual really only encounter with the character was the 1990 movie, where it was a disguise, pause for spoilers, for Breathless Mahoney. You might remember the figure actually caused kind of a stir at the time because its release was considered a spoiler and could have potentially divulged the big plot twist of the movie, so that was a big thing for Playmates to deal with back in 91-ish. I think it was 90 for the movie. Getting to the figure himself, the first thing I noticed out of the box is he's a little bit shorter than the other gangsters that we've gotten this year. He seems to be a little bit more, a little shorter, especially like around the knees. Although if I check the seam lines here, it looks like the pants are seated properly, so he may just have a little shorter legs than flat top and prune face. Coming up top here, you'll notice that the head and neck are one piece, and they go into a joint at the collarbone. And it seems like it's not quite seated right, which actually would make him even a teeny bit shorter, but regardless, the range of motion on that single joint is just fine. You'll have a ball jointed shoulder in there. That's about as far as you want to take it with the cut of the suit. There is a bicep cut. You get a little bit of extra turn there in between. You can kind of see it as I turn it. A really nice double jointed elbow, especially for one with a suit on. And, of course, the usual ball-jointed wrist. He does have two torso joints. There's the ribcage thoracic joint, and then there's the waist joint, which together allow for a pretty good range forward, not an immense range back. Again, you're fighting with a three-piece suit, so you get what you get there, but good amount of swivel and turn. Yeah, not too bad, I would say. And then lower body, same kind of thing. The trousers are going to limit your range outward, but it's still not bad for a guy in a suit, and like the elbows, the knees have a really good range. There's also a nice swivel ball-jointed ankle like we're used to with a little sock sculpt and then a nice dress shoe sculpt on there. And they can also go out a little better than I expected, really. That's not bad travel for suit pants. So you can get him kind of Y/T posed. He does okay. And he will pick up every piece of lint you can find and hold on to it for you should you ever need it. This time around, there's only two head sculpts included, but that really makes sense because he really only needs two. Here is the Blank head you can see with the hat removed and a little bit of hair sculpted on top. And I know you, me, and everybody else is now looking at this guy wondering if they want to try to make a Mezco custom The Question. And no doubt, I absolutely do, but you know what I'd rather do? I'd rather just buy a 112 Question figure. Here is his unmasked head sculpt, which I guess would be his Frank head sculpt. And this is a little more akin to Prune Face than, say, Flat Top or Dick Tracy. It feels a little more realistic than those guys do. And that's kind of cool because I can't imagine why, but were you to have wanted to get this figure for something other than, making a Question custom or for your Dick Tracy collection, this would be a pretty good head sculpt for any rough-looking gangster character. Of course, everybody else got this figure to look just like this. I want to point out, though, the green used for his gloves and for his hat band also matches his necktie really nicely. And it's just kind of a unique, kind of tealish green color. It's rather striking against the black and white suit. For accessories, we have a switchblade that we saw with Flat Top, a little 25 auto Browning that looks very similar to, I think, the one that came with Dick Tracy. Really good looking, heavy S&W style revolver. And this, I would say, Ithaca-based Riot Pump 12 gauge, which I am a huge fan of. And in case that's not enough destruction for you, he comes with a bunch of dynamite too. He also comes with the usual assortment of firing effects that we've seen recently, but I want to take a second and point out in particular this smoking barrel effect because this thing is excellent. I don't think we have any of these. We have some smoking effects, but not for a gun barrel. Also want to point out you can actually see the bullet heads peeking out of the cylinder there. That is a nice paint touch. Here he is with the Golden Age Cape Crusader variant Batman, and yep, he's just too short to be the question. They're just going to have to make me one. I don't see any way around it. And of course, here he is with Dick Tracy, the Dick Tracy, which sounds kind of funny when you say it that way. The variance in height, though, actually is kind of cool because Tracy and Flat Top and Pruneface are all basically the same height. So having the blank be a little shorter is a nice change up, makes the shelf more interesting. Here he is, of course, with Flat Top and Pruneface. And as you can see, thanks to the brim of the hat, he comes up, on top of his head is about in line with Pruneface's eyebrows, I would say. These three together, though, this is ZZ Top levels of sharp dressed men. I really like how they look together. And then here he is with Supreme Knight Batman, just kind of driving that size difference home just a little bit more. But like I said before, if for whatever reason you weren't satisfied with him as the blank and you did want to take that head and pop it on a question custom, he's a damn good suit body. He is a head swap away from being any sort of gangster or businessman character you want to throw into your collection. And if he didn't look swanky enough for you, you can also add a pleather coat and a silk scarf, much like the one that came with Pruneface. The coat I thought was similar to the one that came with the old fully loaded Punisher, but thankfully this one is a lot lighter material, so it's not quite as bunchy on top of the suit body. That being said, I think I like him better without it, but it's nice to have the option. So as far as recommending the blank, oh man, he's a really good figure. I just wish he was more easily accessible to other folks that missed out on him, because that was a really fast pre-order window and he went in a hurry. Being that is the case, though, I think there is a little bit of room for some variation if they wanted to make a second release, or say maybe, I don't know, if there's like a previews exclusive or maybe a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive or something like that. I think one thing they could do is go with just the traditional trench coat look, similar to what they used in the movie, where he's wearing, instead of a pleather jacket, he's got just a Gambit-style black trench coat with the scarf on. And at the risk of further alienating my friend Veebs, I guess they could always do a female variant, which I think would be a really cool option, even for people who got the first one. I think I'd pick up a Breathless Mahoney blank too, provided it wasn't super hard to get. Regardless, he is a super excellent figure, just like the rest of the Dick Tracy line, which is rapidly becoming one of my all-time favorites. And so I thank Mezco Toys for doing an excellent job and helping me get one to review. And I thank you guys for coming through to watch the review, and I will see you again shortly because we got more. See ya.